call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Just a quick update. Items 1A and 1B and item 2, there'll be no action today. These are both being continued to our April 2nd, 2024 meeting. So the commission will take no action on them today. So with that, I would take a motion to approve the order of agenda.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to the minutes from our February 6th meeting. Everybody have a chance to review the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept them.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the public hearing items, we'll move on to item 3. You'll see that 3A on the agenda says it's withdrawn, but there is a 3B, and we'll let Elena explain that to us a little bit more.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Elena Espeseth, and today I will be presenting agenda item 3B. This is Brecky's addition. It's a minor subdivision. As stated, the previously advertised zone change has been withdrawn. The subject property is located at 213 24th Street South and 2401 3rd Avenue South. 213 is this property. It is owned by Habitat of Humanity. This is 2401 and is owned by the city of Fargo. Habitat for Humanity will be making a land donation to the city of Fargo, removing this leg portion of their property. The gift agreement will be completed prior to city commission hearing. The top image is taken facing northwest, looking across the subject property from the intersection of 3rd Avenue and 24th Street. The building that you see here that is brick is the lift station. The buildings in the background are on adjacent properties. The bottom image was taken facing southwest, looking across the subject property from 24th Street South. So there was found to be a zoning error on the city zoning map. The subject property went through a zone change in 2000 to rezone the parcels to SR4, and the zoning map was never updated. The original application for the subject property included a zone change to rezone these parcels to SR4, but being the property was found to be zoned SR4 currently, the zone change was withdrawn. The applicant now requests one entitlement, a replat of lots 8 and 9, block 11, and the adjacent south half of the vacated alley of Egbert, O'Neill, and Haggart subdivision into a 3-lot, 1-block subdivision entitled Brecky's Addition. To date, staff has received no inquiries or concerns regarding the subject property. Kyle Piper from Habitat of Humanity is here, and so is Mark Miller from the Water Reclamation to answer any questions that you might have. Staff's recommendation is for approval as stated in the staff report and shown on the screen, and that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Is there any questions for staff? Just a quick question on sort of the irregularity. Is there a way to kind of run a report just to show if there's any others around the city that do that? I know most people rely on that map as opposed to looking into it more. Just curious, or is it we pretty confident it's a one-off?
I've been here for a while, and it's extremely, extremely rare that we find an error in the zoning map.
Okay.
This one kind of caught us off guard once we started researching minutes based on the subdivision, and then discovered that back when this was rezoned to SR4, staff was working on trying to clean up the zoning in all the neighborhoods to help try preserving some of the single family aspects, because there was a lot of single family neighborhoods that were zoned LI and GC and LC that transitioned from the land development code rewrite in 98. For the most part, most of the city's been cleaned up, but it's extremely rare we stumble across this.
Perfect. Seeing none, is the applicant here and wish to add anything? Mr. Miller, do you have anything to add? No. Okay. Will anybody else from the public here wish to say anything on this? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
I move to approve the findings of staff.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Morgan.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Gunkelman.
Aye.
Stoffren.
Aye.
Holtz.
Aye.
Shuey.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye. The motion passes. We'll move on to item number 4. Ask Donald up to the podium to introduce it.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Donald Kress of the Department of Planning and Development. Item 4 is Alex's First Edition, a major subdivision located here at 5080 38th Street South. Here's the, here's the Walmart. Here's I-29 52nd Avenue South here. This would be 51st. It's coming in, we're standing with our back to 38th. Here's the Sweet Shots place across the street here, just showing at the end of this road, there will be when you see the plat, there'll be Alexander Drive that will connect to the end of this street and go north. And then this is standing on the curve of 38th Street, looking southerly across the property. These are all the, the mini storage building and the Aldi down here. As you see, that is a large vacant lot. And it is currently zoned GC, General Commercial, with a conditional overlay, and that will remain. There is no zone change proposed. This project might look quite familiar to you. This has a sort of a strange history. Your commission approved it as CC's First Edition, and under that name, it went to the City Commission and was approved as CC's First Edition. And when we submitted it to the County Recorder's Office, they said there already was a CC's First Edition. And we always search before we go forward with the plat. Apparently, they have a very sensitive search engine that looks at things differently than I do. So the only way to fix this is to take it through the commissions again under a different name. We did verify Alex's First Edition is an acceptable name with the recorder. So again, it's the same plat that you saw here, 2-block, 3-lot subdivision, dedicates a public street in here, adds some negative access easements here for protection along the curves. And here's where the 51st, we looked at that, it's going to connect to Alexander Drive. Again, the plat itself has not changed, only the names have been changed. Staff's recommendation is for approval here, stated in the staff report and shown on the screen. The project representative, Chris Mack of Christensen Companies, is with us this afternoon and we wish to address the commission. And we thank Christensen Companies for their cooperation and understanding on this one. Thank you.
Thanks, Donald. Looks like you'll have to update the Dewey Decimal System to look these up.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you the whole story sometime when we get time.
Any questions for Donald? Seeing none, does the applicant wish to add anything? Perfect. Yeah, again, thanks for the cooperation as we work through this a second time. Anyone in the public wish to add anything? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Please take the roll. Oh, is there a motion?
I move to approve the
Too
motion of
fast,
staff
too
report,
fast.
please.
Thanks.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Holtz.
Aye.
Stoffren.
Aye.
Morgan.
Aye.
Shuey.
Aye.
Gunkelman.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 5. Stick with you, Donald.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Item 5 is Golden Valley, 4th edition, a zoning change. Commissioners, for this item, you received a laydown item prior to the hearing. It was a comment letter from one of the adjacent owners. This property is located here. This is 65th Avenue South, 64th Avenue South, and 25th Street here. As you see in the Golden Valley 4th subdivision, which was platted in 2020, many of the lots, most of the lots have been developed. This one has not. This one is obviously a larger lot. It was intended for multi-family development here. It has just taken a while to finally get to the development of this, but that was actually stated in the staff report for the City Commission and the Planning Commission at the time that this was intended for townhomes, the side-by-side rental units. Here are just some pictures of the lot here, faced a couple different directions here. We're standing on the levee looking east. As you see, the properties all around it are developed. The zoning here is SR4, and the proposed zone changes to SR5, which might seem a very small change. It is a matter of density. The applicant, Jordahl Custom Homes, was intending to build 11 townhome units on this, and it was brought to their attention that the density-wise, they could only build 10 and a fraction units, and when it comes to density, we always round down to a full unit. You can't build 58 hundredths of a unit. So if you have 10.58 units, you have 10, not 11. And so by zoning it to SR5, that SR5 zoning is a little bit denser, or is a little bit denser than SR4, which would allow them to build an 11th unit. So that is the purpose of the zone change here. The plat itself is not changed, the property is not changing. Staff's recommendation is stated in your staff report and shown on the screen. And Mike Nelson of Jordahl Custom Homes is with us this afternoon. May wish to address the commission. That concludes staff's presentation. We did get that letter, and then we got a few other calls of people just asking what was going on, but they did not express any opposition. They just wondered what's going on out there. So, thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Any questions for Donald? Go ahead.
Yeah, one down, right in the front page of the item, it says maximum density allowed 12.1 dwelling units per acre.
But size, the lot's not big enough. It's not a full acre.
Okay, that explains that. Where
Yes,
the other one at 14.5
Right. And
divided back out
Yeah.
works out, so it works.
it's just a little bit under an acre, yes, sir. So
Okay.
if the lot were a full acre, you are correct. We'd be in good shape, but it's just a little bit under, and so that's
Gotcha.
what makes the difference.
Any other questions? Does the applicant wish to add anything? Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, anyone else in the public wish to add anything? Anyone else want to add anything? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I'll take a motion.
I move to approve with the motion and staff report.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Gunkelman,
Aye.
Shuey,
Aye.
Morgan,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Holtz,
Aye.
Stoffren,
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Donald. The musical chairs here, and Esselina back up.
Rocky, just a quick comment on that last item. We seem to get this comment made sometimes by homeowners that when they purchase something, they weren't necessarily given the right information. Is there any, if a homeowner looking at, building in a certain location, would it pay them sometimes if although they didn't think there was a question about what was gonna go on that piece of property, like the letter that came to us?
Yeah, thinking how to answer this question. If I were to purchase a piece of property, I think I would reach out to the planning department to be able to identify what's the growth plan, say what are the adjacent zoning districts, get on the City of Fargo's website and actually look at the property owners for each individual lot around your neighborhood to see if you're being told something's a city lot and it has a person's individual name on it, more than likely it's not a city lot. And we can easily answer any and all of those questions.
I mean, it's just kind of a cautionary note for people, because it seems to happen once in a while. I mean, so.
Yeah, I remember when there was the issue with the park district owning land, and there was a neighborhood there who were very much objected to the possibility that that would be sold and turned into something that was more congested. Seemed like there were a lot of neighbors involved in that case, and so, good point, John.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 6.
Agenda item number 6 is Pines at the District's 6th edition. This is a minor subdivision. The property is located at 5461 38th Street South. This is Interstate I-29, 52nd Avenue, and this is the location of the Walmart. The top image was taken facing east along 53rd Avenue South. The subject property in the image is on the right, and access to the subject property will have to align with the existing driveway on the left. The bottom image was taken facing southwest, looking across the subject property from the intersection of 38th Street and 53rd Avenue South. The current property is zoned limited commercial and no zone change is proposed. The applicant is requesting one entitlement. This is a replat of Lot 1, Block 1 of the Pines of the District 4th Edition into a 2-lot, 1-block subdivision entitled the Pines of the District 6th Edition. There's a negative access easement that runs along the east side of the lot and northeast corner that will restrict access. Again, any access to the north will need to align with the existing driveway that is across the avenue. To date, staff has received one inquiry regarding the subject property with no noted concern. And Kyle McCanney is here on behalf of Enclave to answer any questions that you might have. Staff's recommendation is for approval as stated in the staff report and shown on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, does the applicant wish to add anything?
Nope, just gonna answer questions.
Any questions for the applicant on this one? Seeing none, anyone else in the public wish to add anything to this item for or against? Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
I'd just like to make a comment,
Sure.
if you don't mind. Well, it just drives me nuts. Looking at the photographs here, being an English major, seeing it named Pines, there must be master lists that developers use and they go, because there are eagle gulches around here, there are owl ravines, there are this and that, and they have absolutely nothing to do with the land. And it's just something that comes up for me because I know that in the past, the Native Americans were very much interested in naming a place that, as it was reflected in its nature. And so I just can't help but laugh to myself and wonder where some of the names from, no offense. So, yeah, I'd just like somebody to answer that question. I've been asking the question for a long time.
Well, everything else would have to be the prairie then, because we're pretty flat. you
Well,
know.
maybe, but, there are lots of wildflowers out there.
Are you looking for a motion?
Looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion to accept the findings of staff as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the roll, please.
Holtz,
Aye.
Shuey,
Aye.
Morgan,
Aye.
Dunkelman,
Aye.
Stoffern,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye. The motion passes. Moving on to item number 7.
Item number 7 is NDSU Research and Technology Park 3rd Edition. This is a minor subdivision. The subject property is located at 1712, 1734 NDSU Technology Circle North and 1650 and 1672 18th Street North and 1321 Albrecht Boulevard. The top image was taken facing westerly from the cul-de-sac along the subject property. The fence line in the background is the approximate west edge of the subdivision. The bottom image was taken facing south across the subject property from the cul-de-sac along the subject property. The buildings in the background are on the adjacent property, and the tree line on the left is approximately the east edge of the subdivision. There is currently a rugby field and stands on the property that will be relocated. At this time, it is yet to be determined where. The zoning is currently PI or public and institutional, and no zone changes proposed. A replat, or the applicant is requesting one entitlement, a replat of lots 1 through 4, Block 1, NDSU Research and Technology Park, Second Edition, and a portion of the northwest quarter of Section 36, Township 140 North, Range 49 West, into a one-lot, one-block subdivision entitled NDSU Research and Technology Park, Third Edition. The existing access and utility easements here on the plat will be vacated with this plat. And there's an existing negative access easement along the east property line that will remain. However, along or where the access easement was, will place a negative access easement and will remove the negative access easement to the south to allow access to the property. And to date, staff has received no inquiries regarding the property. Staff's recommendation is for approval as stated on the screen and shown in your staff report. Thank you.
Thanks, Elena. Any questions? Go ahead.
Question, does this technically falls outside of the NDSU campus, which is state property? How does that, Mark or whoever's answering? I mean, is this an entity on its own with the research park, or how does that all work?
NDSU is an owner of this property. I think, Mr. Sager, do you know that answer offhand? And this is part of the NDSU property, though. The owners are listed as, who are the owners there stated?
Well, as the research and technology park, but
Right.
I was just curious, I mean, NDSU itself is under a master plan?
This is outside.
Yeah, okay, that's my
Yeah,
question.
this is outside the master plan. I believe this area received funding years ago in order to do some sort of technology type venture,
Okay,
which was outside their institutional master plan.
but it falls under the city of Fargo's, even though, is this considered state property then? Or it must not be then?
I don't believe it is.
Okay, I mean,
But it would fall under the zoning ordinance of the city of Fargo's jurisdiction.
okay, that was just my question, it was whose jurisdiction it falls underneath, so, that was all.
Any other questions for Elena? Seeing none. Does the applicant wish to add anything? Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none. Commissioner, or public, anybody else want to add anything? Last chance. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Move to accept findings of staff. Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Dunkelman,
Aye,
Shui,
Aye.
Morgan,
Aye.
Stoffren,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Holtz,
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Staff, do you want to teach us anything while we're here? or-
I don't think we have anything.
Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.